So, Tim, would you like to go ahead and introduce our speaker?
Yes, gladly. Thank you, President Leah. I am delighted to introduce our speaker today. Saby Waraich is our CIO at the college, and this is an example of somebody right here in our own backyard that is an international speaker. Saby speaks on leadership. He speaks on technology all over the world. In fact, if you want to follow him, you can go to his website at sabywaraich.com or follow him on LinkedIn. I like to follow him just to see where he's at. And he's famous for doing what he calls the selfie Saby, which he'll probably do at some point today, and then post where he is and what he's doing. He's talking with us today, though, about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence and the impacts it's going to have on work, since this is vocational month for us. So it's an opportunity to really hear a little bit about these impacts that this is all going to have on each and every one of us and in the world of work in general. So I'm going to get out of the way, but I've seen Saby speak a number of times, and I think we're in for a treat. So Saby, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I wish it were in person, but glad that you're here with us.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Appreciate the welcome. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is staying warm and safe. I lost power for almost 3 days, so I moved at my brother's place in Sherwood. Just came back last evening, only to find out that one of my pipe was frozen and busted. So it's been an interesting last few days, but excited to be here today. Let's kick off the presentation. Give me a second as I run this. Hey. Just let me know, give me a thumbs up when you can see my presentation. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So one of the tools which we're going to use today is called Mentimeter. If you haven't used that tool, this is a great opportunity to do that. What you can do is you can go to menti.com and use that code 2117798. You can also use your phone to scan this QR code. I'm also going to put a link here in the chat box where you can directly click on that link, and we'll kick off our first exercise. Just to warm up, any unique or fun ways you have found yourself to keep warm and upbeat during this challenging cold weather? So I want to hear from you. What do you think? What's going on with you folks? So again, go to menti.com, use that code right there on the top, 2117798. You can also click on that link, which is posted in the chat box, and see what all stories you have to share quickly. Take dog for a walk. Yes, must be a really, really cold walk for sure. At least it gets you out, get that blood flowing. What else? What about other folks? What have you been doing? Again, this is going to be very interactive. Play with dogs. Okay, I see a pattern here. Hot chocolate. Yes. Yum in there. Layers. You can't go wrong with that. Indoor trampolining. Okay, all cool stuff. Eating. Fire, yes. Eating is a tough one. Man, you have to walk a lot to get those pounds off later on. Sitting by the fireplace, drinking coffee, drinking chocolate. Those are all amazing ways to keep yourself warm. So thank you for that. I will come back to my presentation now. So first of all, who's Saby? Right. My full name is Sarabjit Singh Waraich. That's why it's Saby. You know, every time I'm ready to board a plane, usually in front of me, there are 2-3 folks. Usually there is Mr. John who hands over his boarding pass to the agent, and the agent says, "Oh, welcome, Mr. John," and Mr. John walks in. And usually behind Mr. John is Miss Emily, and Miss Emily gives her boarding pass to the agent, and the agent says, "Welcome, Miss Emily," and Miss Emily walks in. And then I show up with my boarding pass, and the agent says, "Welcome, welcome." That's why it's Saby. As Tim said, I'm also known as Selfie Saby. I wish I would have taken that selfie with you if it had been an online presentation, maybe in future. I always start my presentation by taking these amazing selfies, and people actually usually take selfies with me. And then somebody said, is it Saby? Is it Saby? Can I make it more spicier? I said, go for it. So what do you think will be a spicier version of Saby? Put it in the chat box. I want to hear from you. What do you think will be a spicier version of Saby? What name did they give me? Put it in the chat box. Again, I said it's going to be very interesting. Oh, Tim, come on. You gave it, man. Yes. It is definitely wasabi in there. And then about a few years ago, I was attending this presentation, and this speaker had this huge slide. I like that name, Saucy Sabi. I'm glad you didn't say Saucy Baby, because sometimes when you put Sabi in there, it automatically corrects it and it becomes Saucy Baby. So I had that experience as well. So going back to that, a few years ago, I attended this presentation, and the speaker had this huge slide which said Wabi Sabi. How many of you have heard this term Wabi Sabi? Put it in the chat box. Yes, no. Have you heard about Wabi Sabi? Brett says no, Kim says no, Mark says no, Brian says no, Christian says no, Pete says no. Okay, a lot of no's here. So here's the first learning of the day. Wabi Sabi is a Japanese proverb. What it says is we always run after perfection, but there is this beauty in imperfection which we don't appreciate. So we need to start appreciating all the imperfections which we have. I said, man, that just sounds like me. Probably next time I'm going to see you, I'm going to change my name to be Wabi Sabi. How about that? I came to the United States in the year 2003, and the city I come from is the most perfect city in the world. I'm not going to ask you that question. You can go to Google and find out what's the most perfect city in the world. It's Chandigarh. It's northern part of India. It's about 5 hours drive from New Delhi. My background is computer science, did my bachelor's, worked for Indian multinational firms, did some consulting here in the year 2000, went to school, Portland State, and did my master's there. And then in 2005, I joined City of Portland as a software developer, did that for some time, became a project manager, did that for some time, became a business consultant, did that for some time, became an application development manager, and so on. And 2020, about 3.5 years, almost, 3.5 years, I joined Clackamas Community College as a chief information officer and a chief information security officer. Interestingly, I'm spending more than 60% of my time in cybersecurity, as you can aware about the challenges which we all face every single day. I'm also a adjunct professor. I've been teaching at Portland Community College for the last 15 years. I teach programming languages and user support, all kind of fun stuff. I'm involved with few nonprofit organizations, just like you are a nonprofit organization. I'm part of PMI Portland chapter. I've been volunteering there for the last 15 years. I'm the past president of the chapter. That's for anybody who's a project manager. That's why you see a little bit dated picture in there. And there's also another organization called SIM, Society for Information Management. That's for IT leaders. I'm the incoming president for SIM Portland chapter. The interesting part is in the last 13 years, we have given more than $900,000 in scholarships to students who are pursuing their degree in information systems. So really an amazing organization. And then I go around the globe, I speak, I'm a keynote speaker, I'm on the board of National Speaker Association Oregon chapter, I'm considered as a thought leader. But let's talk about why we are here today, right? So I'm gonna go back to our mentee. I'm gonna ask you, what's your expectation from this presentation? I wanna make sure that I meet your expectation. And if you close that window, I'm gonna put that link again. Don't close that window for Mentee, because we're gonna use this tool throughout this presentation. Again, you can go to mentee.com, use that code right there on the top of the screen, 2117798, or you can click on that link and tell me, okay, what will make this presentation successful for you? Okay, Chat GPT prompts. Yes, that's number one. Sabi, give me all these prompts which are gonna make my life easier. We can do that. Learn about AI. Yes, that's definitely the goal. I think I'm gonna hit that mark. How do you help businesses survive in a changing paradigm with AI? Man, that's like a full day workshop to just talk about the impact it's gonna have. To learn about AI and where you think it's going. Lessen the fears about AI, yes. Share the future, yeah. One more, learn something new. Okay. Why use AI in business? Learn how others use in public sector are trying to get over the fear of using AI. Yeah, absolutely. All these are valid questions. Learn something new. Well, if you, that I can already do a check mark. You already learned a new thing, which is Wabi Sabi, and you already learned the most perfect city in the world. It's Chandigarh. So check mark on that, but we'll continue our conversation. Next question I have for you. How many of you have used artificial intelligence? Just, I want to see how many of you have used it. Say yes, no, maybe. I want to see, again, use that menti.com, use that tool to do that. Wow. 3 people saying no, 1 maybe, 4 saying no, 1 maybe. I'm seeing some chat responses. Mark is saying no, Alexis is saying yes. Okay. Cool. So majority of the folks, you think you haven't used artificial intelligence, and there's 1 maybe. I don't know, Sabi. Maybe there's a danger in there, right? So okay, let's test this, right? So first of all, what is AI? If you have used virtual assistants on your phone, like Siri, Google Assistant, or using Alexa, that's AI. How many of you used Spotify or Netflix?
What?
If you have used Netflix or Spotify, that's artificial intelligence, because it's relying on those algorithms on the back and learning your behavior and how you're interacting with that, and based on that, it's giving you all the choices which you want. I am sure you must have used Google Maps. That's also has artificial intelligence in the back. If you're using e-commerce websites like Amazon, whatever you buy, it's gonna give you all the preferences on your choice. Hey, you need this. That's artificial intelligence. It's used in our email filters. It's used in our Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Artificial intelligence. Okay, so I'm gonna ask that question one more time. How many of you have used artificial intelligence in your life? Just put it in the chat box. If you said no before, I want to see if you're going to say yes again. So Mark said no. Mark, what do you think? A lot of yeses, huh? Still somebody said no. I want to hear from that individual. A lot of yeses. Okay. I'm glad, at least now you know that you have been using artificial intelligence for a long, long time, and it's not gonna come and take over the world as everything folks have been saying. So cool. Now that's artificial intelligence. Then the question comes in. Okay, perfect. What is all this hype about generative AI? Now, generative AI is a particular form of machine learning. It all started in early 2000s, but actually it came to the customer side or the consumer side I will say in November 2022. We just celebrated 1-year anniversary of ChatGPT, right? So what does generative AI does, right? It learns from the data, it learns from what is already in there, and then it generates new data for you. So ChatGPT is an OpenAI service. OpenAI is the name of the company that it's like a chat bot. You're having a conversation with a machine. And the good thing is it's actually remembering what you're telling it. And then it's generating new content using those large language models to create new content. So that's ChatGPT for you, right? It's generative AI. So I'm not going to go into the complex complexity of large language models. I found out what those are. Just want to keep it a very high level where it would be helpful. Okay. So next question for you. What do you think? How quickly ChatGPT reached out to 1 million users? How much time it took ChatGPT to hit that 1 million mark? Use that code, Menti. 1 day, 5 days, 15 days, 75 days. 1 million users are a lot of users. Lot of users, I'm just going to tell you. Love the spread over there, but the right answer is absolutely 5 days. It took 5 days to get that. So here's the interesting thing. It took Netflix to reach that 1 million mark. It took it 3.5 years, 3.5 years. Airbnb, 2.5 years. Spotify, months. ChatGPT, 5 days. In 5 days, it just hit that 1 million mark. And interesting thing for me was, I had no clue about ChatGPT until my son told me, who is at that time was a sophomore at University of Portland, said, "Dad, have you looked at this ChatGPT thing?" And I was just blown out with all the features it had at that time. So 100 million users, it took just 2 months for ChatGPT to cross that 100 million mark across. If you looked at TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Spotify or Netflix, it took years for them to several months to hit that 100 million marks. ChatGPT was right there. Within a couple of months, it hit that 2 million mark. 100 million mark. Okay. So my next question to you is, let's go back. Now, if you have used ChatGPT or any other generative AI-based tool, so ChatGPT is one. There is another one by Google called Bard. There are many other tools. If you have used that ChatGPT or any other generative AI-based tool, how have you used it? How have you used it? Again, go to menti.com, use that code 2117798 to hear from you. Okay. To generate job descriptions, cover letters, change the tone in writing. We'll definitely touch that. Writing a speech, planning a trip. Not to my knowledge, certainly not intentionally. Yeah. What about other folks? Haven't used it to listen to music, not that I know of. Okay. Okay. Great. Trying it out to generate computer code and sample policy documents. Yes. Yes, absolutely. You can do all, you can generate computer code, programming languages, and you can definitely create policy documents with that. Have not. Awesome. Let me see. Writing a speech, Jill Singh, writing a speech. Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the ways in which ChatGPT helps. So first of all is you can ask questions to it, right? What I'm going to do is also give you a demo of some of the things in which I have used ChatGPT, and maybe you can use ChatGPT. So you can ask all kind of questions to it, and it becomes your like a resource for researching. So here's how I have used it, right? So give me a second. So ChatGPT has various models out there. ChatGPT 3.5, where it all started. Now it's ChatGPT 4. Now you can actually, ChatGPT 4 is you have to buy. The cost is about $20 a month for a professional version, but it gives you a lot more features in that, right? So how can you use it? Okay, asking questions. So let me give you, a demo of that, right? So I will give you, we are, and Tim will attest to that. We are getting ready for Clackamas Community College bond, right? If you are not aware about that, stay tuned to get more information about that. Bond at Clackamas County. This was one of the questions which was asked, like, we need to reach out to various stakeholders. So who are the various stakeholders that we should contact to connect and talk about this? Great. So it's giving me answers there. Hey, here are the range of key stakeholders who have an interest in the college and the bond measure. You should definitely check with college administration, faculty. You should talk to Board of Education. You need to talk to student organizations, local business community, local government officials, community groups, parents, local residents, media outlets, labor unions, financial advisors, legal counsel, state education department, potential donors, and philanthropists. Right? It's a great. I asked a question, gave me that answer right there and then. So that's one way you can use ChatGPT. Okay, asking questions. You can ask it to summarize a document. Think about this. You have this 10-page document. You can actually upload that document, and you can say, could you please summarize this document to me in 500 words or less? So it can summarize that document for you. Research and analysis. Let's say a student is doing kind of a research on a project. It can actually use ChatGPT for research and analysis for that particular thing. Brainstorming ideas, ideation, and learning. Lot of things you can use ChatGPT for. So let me give you a little bit more examples how I use it. So here's an interesting one which I use, right? So I was getting ready to go for, this is a fun one. I was getting ready to go for a cocktail, and I have this blazer. So what I did, I said, hey, act like a fashion expert. I'm getting ready for a holiday party where the attire is cocktail. What shirt, pant, and shoes go with this blazer pick? Right? So this is my blazer. I said, I need to get ready for this cocktail. What do you think? Great. The blazer you have chosen is a strong, warm color with a bold pattern, which is great. This is all by ChatGPT, and it gave me the options like shirt, what color, what kind of pants, what kind of shoes, what you can do. You can wear a nice watch, a pocket square. Great. Enjoy the holiday party. Awesome. Now, this is the color. I was like, this is a charcoal paint, solid color trousers. Maybe, I don't know if this will go. I was just playing with it. Maybe this will go or not. I said, okay, is this too dark for the outfit? I took a picture of that and attached it. It's like, no, it's going to work quite well. So it actually became a fashion expert and telling me how you can use it. Another fun one, which I not recently, a few months ago or many months ago, I used was, I have this exercise machine in my garage. So I took a picture of that. It's through Costco, and I put it on ChatGPT, and I said, hey, I want to build some muscles. Look at this machine. Could you please help me outline a workout for next whole month and put it in a table format? Great. It looked at the machine, and based on that, provided me all the workouts which I need to do. A great example of that. Another one is planning, right? Well, we talked about that. Here's one. I want to go to Hawaii, and we don't have ample number of time. So I said, hey, could you please, based on 20% of sites and activities in Hawaii, give me 80% of those memorable experiences, and could you please create an itinerary around them? So here's what it did. He said, okay, great. You need to look at the top 20% of the sites and activities. Here's what you can do. Day 1, go to here. Day 2, go here. Day 3, go here. Day 4, go here. And it remembers all that. And then if I have to ask anything, I can ask it again. I will say, could you please include some well-known restaurants, or you can even specify the food which you like to eat. Well-known restaurants for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Please include. Okay, I already said that. Okay, great. So here's the revised itinerary here. Breakfast, you should go to here, morning here, lunch here, afternoon here, dinner here, and then evening, that's what you should be doing. So it's taking all the work which I had to do to go to Google and do all my research and build this. It would have taken me multiple hours to do that. And within, I will say, less than 15 seconds, it's right there in front of me, right? So that's how it can be used. Okay, what are other ways, Sabi? Here are some tasks which are very monotonous. Monotonous in the sense is, you like sending emails, right? You need to send an email. Sometimes you need to understand the tone of the language. Sometimes you want to make sure you cover everything in there. That could be done by ChatGPT. Drafting reports, right? It can write a report for you. It can structure it the way you like. It also looked at reviewing some of those materials, right? You have a big test as a student. You want to go and look at all of our notes, and you can say, hey, could you please look at all these notes and could you please quiz me? So ChatGPT, based on all these notes, will help a student to quiz that individual, to to make that individual's learning a little bit more better. It also acts as a proofreading, so it checks on the grammar, spellings, style errors, and also suggests some fixing, grant proposal writing, and administrative docs and everything. So great way to do these kind of things. Let's do another one of thing. So I had, right, so this is how I use it, right? So this is, every time when we start, we had a little bit of issue with one of our servers, and every time we start a term, we usually see a lot of issues. So I wanted ChatGPT to draft an email to leadership cabinet, right? So what I did was, okay, provided it a summary right here, write an email to leadership cabinet about few things as we start the term, right? If we could express to the group that at the beginning of each term, we see this, here are the things which need to do it. We want to make sure faculty, test and verify everything. Great. It gave me the subject of that and gave me the whole email, right? It bolded everything. What are the things which are important? Formatted it so nicely. What are the things which need to be done by on-campus faculty? What needs to be done by remote faculty? How they can prepare for classroom, and boom, this is done for me. So that's how I used it. Another one which I've used it is, we recently had a sim holiday party, sim Portland chapter, right? This is what you can use. So I posted this picture in there, and I said, hey, please draft me a LinkedIn post to invite sim members to attend the annual holiday party. I have attached a flyer for the event. And here you go. It gave me that, the whole LinkedIn, when is it, what time, what's the venue. It all read from this picture and created this LinkedIn post for me. So it's even provided those hashtags. Right? So that's some of the ways which you can use it. Okay. Some of them said, hey, it can help you with code and scripts. Yes, absolutely. You can ask it to write code for you. Those scripts, it helps you create those project plans. It can help you draft some institutional policies, strategic plans. It can help you with some complex formulas and analyze some of the data, right? So those are some ways in which, let's do another quick one. I want to give it to you. And here is it. So this is business. Boston Foods wants to introduce a new loyalty program to increase customer retention and sales. The program will cost $75,000 to implement, but is projected to increase revenue by 12% in the first year. This means the store will generate another $125,000 in revenue, resulting in net profit of $50,000. Compose a business case that is clear and concise using a persuasive and personal tone. That's the tone which you can use. Persuasive and personal, highlight in bold any important information. Great, it's drafting that business case for Boston Foods loyalty program implementation. What's the opportunity? What's the financial justification? It's giving you all that in a draft mode, right? Benefits beyond numbers. How do you do risk management? What's the conclusion? Great. Now what you have is a draft of a business case right there for you. And then you need to go in and make sure the information is correct and can do all kind of cool stuff. Here's another one which I do. I don't know how many of you are fans of emojis, but I am a big fan of emojis. So
Hey,
I will
Saby,
yes.
we got to we're about out of time, and I want to make sure people can ask questions. So maybe just like one more real quick.
Okay, I will do one more and I will wrap it up. So you can design presentations, you can create images, you can do videos, trainings, course materials, and exams for that. So you can do all that with ChatGPT. So how is it going to impact, especially in higher education? 83% the way higher education is done. And then how do you put your prompt in? It should be, you need to give a context to this. You should have a limit. Write me a feedback in, let's say, 30 words or less. You need to elaborate on that, assume, and then you can redirect. If you want to learn more about that, feel free to connect with me. I will be happy to share more information on this. And then one thing which I definitely want to touch on is the risks with this, right? Data privacy is a huge one because it's all learning from the internet, from the web. Some of the folks have this copyrighted material. Ethics is a huge piece in there. You will hear, hey, ChatGPT has hallucination, these models, absolutely. Hallucination, it is at 98%. So you want to make sure you check on everything. It has bias, and then it's also affecting the cybersecurity piece every single day. How it's going to affect your business is the future of the work. It's going to have a huge impact. How it will reshape the workplace and employee experiences. So I'm going to stop here, and I am ready for some questions.
Okay, if you have a question, if you could raise your hand, Kim Foster, go ahead.
Yes, I'm glad you covered the bias, because that's a big issue that I've already seen in that.
Yeah.
It was interesting back in, I think it was actually the late 1980s, I worked on a precursor to AI stuff in my aerospace career. So, but the other thing, one of the things I worry about with AI is the loss of skills that people who will use it. You know, there's a critical thinking is a key thing. So you can just kind of take what is provided to you and out of an AI thing, and then not end up asking the questions like what is missing from that, or what's not being said. So that, you know, there's that element of it. Anyway, just if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, absolutely, Kim. Critical thinking is such a key piece, and that was similar kind of, concerns when initially when calculator was introduced in the education sector, saying, hey, you are taking that, now you have this computer or a calculator who's going to do all that for you. Where's that going to do? So definitely that is a piece of, we need to continuously use our critical thinking skills. But also I will add one thing to that: the pace at which technology is changing, the jobs which are going to be left behind will be the ones who know how to use AI effectively. So don't be scared about it. Start using AI in your work and get yourself familiarized the way some of the folks were left behind when they were scared about internet, right? Yes, there are many things which are out there, but get your feet wet.
Mimi.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, I'm just curious, just really for selfish reasons, travel, like you mentioned, a trip to Hawaii, the 3 best places to go. And I'm familiar with that issue because I've traveled using Rick Steves' Europe through the back door. And we all kind of ended up, everybody from Oregon and Washington, in the same places. So I mean, clearly you want to be more specific, like seeking scuba diving or whatever, but how are we going to avoid not all going to the best places and being all over there? Thoughts?
Yeah, so the more specific you are, the more specific it will give you the output for you. Like, what kind of, like I said, hey, what are the different restaurants? Add those. I didn't added any specificity about what kind of food you like. Like maybe you like a little bit Mexican food. Maybe you like, sushi. So as you put more specificity into that, it's going to give you a little bit more customized feedback to you.
Joe.
Joe, you're on mute. Yes.
Yes, hi, Saby.
Hello.
I am just calling because I'm really interested in how you cut these things down from 3 months to a day or something of that sort. So tell me, do you have a class at the college that us senior citizens can volunteer to take, to learn a little bit more about how to get to the results that we have here?
Not yet, but it's coming. There's a lot of focus on artificial intelligence, and it's a new thing. Everybody's learning, but I'm very hopeful that in near future we'll have a class on artificial intelligence pretty soon, because it's going to change the way we interact, we work. I will give you a quick note. ChatGPT 3.5 had an IQ of 115. ChatGPT 4 was released like 5 to 6 months later. It has an IQ of 155. Albert Einstein, IQ 160. So we're just starting, right? Think about where it's going to go in next version, next release. The opportunities are great, the way it's going to solve some of the problems for us, but then there are also some dangers which some of these leaders are working towards.
Terrific. Thank you.
So a question in chat is, who inputs the information into the database accessed by ChatGPT, and who has access to the conversations I have with ChatGPT?
Right. Yeah, privacy, as I said, is a huge piece on that. So there are many models out there. ChatGPT just released an enterprise version or a Teams version where all the data which you are inputting in there will stay, and all those models will not use your data to learn it. So it will stay in that area. But right now, anything which you're putting in ChatGPT, it's learning and it's getting better. So there's no privacy in there. So that's one thing which I usually say is, if you have any proprietary information, any important information, don't put it in ChatGPT. Use it until you have the enterprise version or you have a Teams version. But there are many other models, AI-based models, which are coming in, which will just use the data within your organizations and will give you the information related to your organization, specific organization, which will be much more safe, secure from that perspective.
Very nice. Well, Saby, I thank you. I appreciate you coming on and doing this by Zoom, and very informative. I'm going to have to get in there and learn a little bit more about this process. So appreciate it. Maybe I'm going to have to take one of those classes.